Hello, this is Angela with Parker's Permaculture. It's early February here in my permaculture garden in Zone 8B. I wanted to talk about a volunteer plant that I see misidentified and just make a few clarifications for y'all. Now, right now, I'm weeding around some of my blueberries, pulling back some of the dirt that the rain has pushed too close to the house foundation and getting ready to mulch. And as I'm doing this, I noticed that there's a little volunteer plant here and another one here, and I want to talk about this plant. This time of year, I see folks who post about it and say, oh my goodness, I have comfrey volunteering in my yard. Or maybe they post and just ask for clarification, what is this plant? This is not comfrey, this is not Symphytum officinale. This is a plant that is in the borage family, but it is an invasive weed in the Pacific Northwest, and it spreads and loads of volunteers come up in the spring. You can see why folks think it resembles comfrey early in the year. The leaves emerge in a similar kind of rolled pattern. Here we can compare it to an actual comfrey plant. They look very, very similar early on. So it's an herbaceous perennial and it comes up from the ground, and the leaves initially look a little bit like comfrey and they're a little prickly like comfrey. Let's pick a leaf. You can see there's some hairs on it. And it has similar leaf structure. So folks often think this is Symphytum officinale, a medicinal, beneficial, permaculture dynamic accumulator plant. And that is not what we have here. What we have here is Pentaglottis sempervirens, which is, again, an invasive weed in our area. It's called Green Alkanet or just Alkanet. And one of the biggest ways you can tell that it is not comfrey is that a percentage of the young leaves have these white specks on it. Now, when it flowers, you can easily tell that it's not comfrey. But this early in the year, folks think, oh my goodness, I have comfrey volunteering. That's awesome. Nope, you don't. You have an invasive weed, the sap of which can cause a really nasty phytodermatitis for a lot of folks. So you want to be careful if you are removing this plant to wear gloves. Now, let me get up and show you the other one here. So this plant is also confused with Chinese forget-me-not, again, in the borage family. All of these are in the borage family. So it comes up much earlier than comfrey. And I'm gonna post in some pictures from later in the year so you can compare these two plants. Here you can see the Green Alkanet flowers, 5 petals with a flower facing upward in an ultraviolet blue color. The leaves themselves are smaller and more pointed than comfrey leaves. Now let's compare to comfrey, which has a chain of bell-shaped, downward-facing flowers that can range in color from white to pink to a lavendery purple. By the time it is flowering with those vibrant blue flowers, Green Alkanet is perhaps only 18 to 24 inches tall. However, comfrey can get 4 or 4.5 feet tall. Comfrey at maturity is a striking plant with tall stems, very large leaves, and those purpley bell-shaped flowers. Flowers are very different. This plant is much lower to the ground and it comes up much earlier. So if you see this time of year, what you've got is Pentaglottis sempervirens, Green Alkanet, a weedy plant. It is a good pollinator attractor, but you do not have comfrey. And this will sow seeds everywhere in early summer, so you may want to dig it up. Now let me show you here. So I'm going to dig it up here. So when I go to dig up this plant, I want to be really careful that I'm getting all of the roots, because just like our desired comfrey, the Green Alkanet plant will come back if you leave any bits of root in the soil. So it's really important that you dig it up. So here you can see the roots look quite a bit like comfrey, and any little bits of those will make a whole new plant. So you want to remove all of this, and you want to Well, you can compost the leaves, but you don't really want to compost the roots because they'll just grow back. But the leaves are really good to compost. They have quite a bit of nitrogen, and you could make a fermented compost tea with them if you wanted to. That would be fine. So it does have uses as a plant. In permaculture, we say the problem is the solution. So you want to figure out how to use everything as a resource whenever possible. All right, well, that's enough of this quick video. I'm going to get going on my weeding and mulching, and I will be back soon. Thanks.